And so begins my door project. So the plan is currently to do OBS solutions, inner door brackets, new window felts here, new door speakers, sound deaden, new door handles, new window motors, and new lock actuators, as well as new clips on the doors, basically everything to make them all super quiet, super sounding good, and then end up having a rebuilt door that I won't have to have an issue with. And later on, I'll probably do another video about replacing door hinges and then door strikers, and I should have doors that sound better than factory and close better too, or at least as good as factory did. Alright, for right now, for the most part, the doors are stripped down. Gonna wash this interior door panel and then the inside of the outer door skin, get those all cleaned up, probably start applying some sound deadening, and then move on to doing other things depending on how today goes, but that'll probably how it'll go in the video. Alright, so I know this is kind of cheating because these are a little harder to find, but most any auto parts store should have them. They're just a little snap clip that uses a threaded screw. My JBL speakers came with them, and I'm not going to end up using them, so I decided to use them for the one touch down module. You can see that I drilled 2 holes, and then I took and just transferred those here, because this is the spot in the door panel where basically nothing moves. They're going to be hidden by the upper door panel, and so the screw heads will be nice and hidden, and they'll actually be hidden and surrounded by sound deadening, so you'll just see the screw heads and that's about it, but it'll all still be accessible. The module will hang down so water can't stay in it, and it makes easy access for all of the wiring right there that I'm going to need. Isn't that fancy? Isn't that fancy? Alright, so at this point, got the new window motor in, got the new JBL speaker, and then as you can see, both inner and outer door skins are fully sound deadened. I covered about as much as I could and is realistic. I'm not going to cover every minuscule inch just because there's no point. Because truly in sound deadening, you really only need about 75% of the open spaces. I'm going for max coverage, and the kill mat's pretty cheap. So that was my thoughts and goals here, and sure hope it makes a huge difference, or at least a noticeable one. Alright, so we can take and look in here. You see that I did the majority of the inner door. Just tried to get everything I could. That's reasonable. There's some factory, what I'm guessing is sound deadening, probably something to help strengthen the door as well. I didn't go over that, but I figured I'd cover everything else that's just sheet metal. Alright, so there is the driver's side door done, and as of currently, I've got all of the kill mat laid inside and outside of the door skins. Got the new JBL speakers installed. You can see those there. I've also got the one touchdown or express down Ford Taurus, Mustang, and possibly Explorer module wired up, installed, and working. Got a new window motor, and I've got window felt on the door itself, and sitting here in the back seat, we've also got them mounted onto the door panels. Next thing up, I'm going to put new door lock actuators in, and then I'll be putting new door handles in just to get rid of those, make them look a little fancy, just dress it up a little bit, and then new clips all around the door, put her back together, and I guess drive it. It's a weird concept for me because I don't really do it, but hey, why not? We'll try it. I do have to say, just sound deadening the door itself and closing it is an amazing difference, because it sounds like a tin can when you shut it with no deadening, and when you shut it now, it's got a nice thud to it. It's very just firm and concise. It makes a difference. I'm quite blown away. Now I can't wait to pull the front seat out, use the rest of the kill mat I have, and Put it all underneath the front of the floor, underneath the driver's seat, try and quiet it down as much as I can, and eventually I'll probably make a video of me sound deadening the entire interior, doing Noico 50 mil on the bottom, all the way back up the sides of the super cab here, up the back, and then doing Noico red or green, whatever it is at the time, the closed cell foam, and then possibly even mass-loaded vinyl on top of it all to truly make it about as quiet as I can possibly get it. Snowball effect. I did the doors in kill mat, as you can see over there, and I had a bunch left over. Well, the plan had always been to sound deaden the interior, and there's a ton of stuff from Ford. Thanks, Ford. Back in the day, you guys knew what you're doing, but I figured, hey, let's add some more while we're here. So, for the truck's even back up and going again from the doors, as you can see they're still torn apart, I decided to tear the seat out, wipe down all the rest of it, and add more. Seems reasonable, right? Alright, so first I want to start off by saying I'm not sure if it's a trim level package thing or whether it's a diesel specific thing. My guess is it's a trim level and a diesel thing. But Ford put some serious insulation in these things to help keep them quiet, because as you can see here, this is factory insulation, as well as there's some quite thick insulation on the carpet. There was some up in the headliner. Then there's also all the stuff underneath on the firewall. And then there's stuff on the other side. Ford did some serious work trying to keep these things quiet. Well, as you can see now, the little rabbit trail that I got on with the whole kill mat is part way done. I've got the doors done. You can see both those there. They're nice and quiet. Makes a huge improvement. I didn't realize how much of a tin can the factory doors sound like, but they really do comparatively. And then we've got the floor all sound deadened. There was a ton of factory sound deadening, but I figured double stacking sound deadening can't hurt. And we'll see how just the kill mat by itself does, and maybe down the road I'll be putting more on in the form of closed cell foam, the Noico red, and then the mass loaded vinyl. But we'll see where this gets us. Alright, here's the tools I use for putting it in. You're definitely going to need some rags. I wiped down the interior first with just soapy water, then dried it off, and then on the doors I did brake clean and wiped it off just to make sure that I had nice clean adhesion, especially for something that's not going to be laying on the ground where gravity will help keep it there. Wanted to make sure I had it uber clean. I even did some vacuuming. Cheap pair of scissors. Those are from the dollar store because I didn't care, but it works for cutting this stuff very nicely. You will need a couple rollers, but you won't use them nearly as much as you think. Water, for obvious reasons. A utility knife, a tape measure. The tape measure is incredibly important, but not for the reasons you'd think. And then the kill mat. So as you can see, that tape measure's got some marks on it. That's because that's actually the main tool that I used, was I used the rounded edges of it, just a plastic tape measure, to adhere the kill mat. That's what I found to work the best. And then for corners and edges and stuff like that, I used the butt end of the roller. And then to get a nice finish, I'd use the roller. I use the 1 inch more than anything. The 2 inch really is too big in my opinion, but that's just my experience. And I even used the butt end of the razor blade to form some corners and some weird angles and stuff like that. I was blown away how much I used the tape measure on. Alright, you can see I've probably got about 1 inch thick left of kill mat. There's 11 sheets there. That box was plumb full, about 2.5, 3 inches. And I've already done my doors, double layered the trans tunnel, and then all of the floor. I'm blown away how far this 50 mil stuff goes. And here's a little sheet of it. You want to roll it down until the bubbles are all gone. And it's super thin, but it definitely makes a difference. So this is 50 mil, 50 square feet, and it goes a long ways.